strategic buckets and how these are handled, particularly between mid and upper management. Roberto and Oais both had questions about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to fall back on my current experience, and there's a lot to take away from, because we've gone through now two organizational changes in the last 2 years. We've gone from a company that had a president, no vice presidents, and 3 business segments, each with a general manager, and each segment with a portfolio of products. And the buckets in that scenario were pretty closely aligned to the business segments. So each had a budget, each had a directive. Strategy was all over the place. And I think the reason that is because they were kind of left to autonomously develop their own individual strategy. And what that looked like at the top was no control over the spending, the product development. And so, like I say, we went through 2 organizational changes in the last 2 years, and the most recent one flattened the company. So got rid of the business segments. Unfortunately, a lot of personnel, did away with the general managers because we don't have the business segments anymore, and went back to president, operational vice president, sales and marketing vice president, regulatory vice president, and then directorship throughout the rest of the organization. And what they're in the midst of establishing right now are their strategic buckets going forward. And what that looks like in our organization is those buckets are forming under a larger strategic umbrella, which is, we're learning the 80-20 principle, which is an economic principle, and I explained it in the forum, so I won't go into too much detail there, but the point is that they have an overriding strategy that will shake down into how they shape their strategic buckets. That's at the top end. The bottom end, where I live, at this point it's a little chaotic, but what we're starting to see is that they're shaping out to focus on 4 products. So all of our attention and focus will be on those 4 products and iterating those products and sustaining the products that are part of those portfolios. And then all of our marketing efforts and sales efforts will be much better aligned because the entire company will be focused on those strategic goals. So that's an example of a developing strategy wherein they're using strategic buckets. You can imagine that resource has shifted all around, and some of our capital has become liquid where it wasn't before. So those decisions are being made right now, and it remains to be seen how successful it will be.